welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, snackers?
What's going on, y'all boys?
Woo!
And welcome to season 4 of the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
Welcome back to the pod.
The most honest podcast, the most open podcast, and the most wholesome podcast in the world.
Welcome back, y'all.
Man.
We are back.
It's been a minute, y'all boys.
Wow.
It's been a while.
It's been 3 weeks since we've seen y'all officially on the pod. We did drop a car talk, a GC
Yep.
Car Chronicles.
That's still posted on YouTube, so go check that out if you haven't.
Yes, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But yes, so it's been 3 weeks since we've sat down and potted with each other and with y'all, and we're so excited to be back.
Yeah, so
Good stuff. Vibes are immaculate right now.
They are.
For our non-YouTube listeners, I have a blanket in my lap. We've got the snacks on deck. The vibes are right.
got the new Late Night Snacking hoodie.
Got the new Late Night Snacking
It was a
hoodie.
gift.
I don't know if you want to just do one of these, but you have also another thing
Yeah, I have the
behind you.
logo on the back.
And we've got our little, I don't know what you call those. It's a picture of us.
Yeah, with like no face. But it's really cool. It's also a gift.
It is really cool. For our audio listeners,
Pretty
just
awesome.
come to the YouTube so you can see what we're talking about. But yeah, so we've got some gifts over the past few weeks. Probably the biggest one that you're seeing is the Wansley sign.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really cool. It has our wedding date on it. Just the vibes are right. That's all I can really
Yeah,
say
man,
right
that's
now.
what we own. That's what we doing. Doing it big on the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
Got
you know what I'm saying?
always. So welcome back for season 4. We are back with a vengeance. We've got a lot of good stuff to cover with y'all this season. We were going over our notes just for things that we have prepared for the season, and we have some really good topics, in my opinion. Let me not,
The topics this season are going to be immaculate.
Yeah, they're going to be great. We have a really good one tonight, but before we get into all that, quick catch up on what we've been doing these past 3 weeks. We had our engagement party, which we were talking about before we left y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, because I want to say that we said we were going to vlog it for them.
Yeah. So here's what happened.
So what happened was...
We were going to. We honestly were. But we were just so overwhelmed with all the friends and family that was there. We was just in the present moment.
Yeah.
The very last thing that was on our mind was to pull the camera out and vlog.
And record.
Just wasn't there.
It
you know what I mean? Like,
wasn't.
we were too busy, like, having conversations with friends and family.
Taking it all in.
This is our first time our families have met. So,
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. So, it
That's
was
so
just a lot going
true.
on. We trying to plan and after moves, people coming back to the house. Some people seeing the house for the first time. Like, we just had a lot going on.
Somebody sideswiped my car on the way out.
Someone sideswiped her and just kept going.
That was a
Shout out to my LB. Shout out to Darius McCrae. Darius is a real one. If you know, you know.
That was just a very hectic day. Honestly, like, overall, like, over the 3 weeks, not much has happened. But that one day can cover 3 weeks worth of, like, thrill.
Yeah, no,
It was just
like,
a
it
lot
was.
of stuff. We
it
were
was
out
crazy.
until, like, 2-3 o'clock in the morning that night. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot.
And then that Friday,
happening.
we done the live podcast show.
Yes.
Our first ever live podcast show at that. So
Yes.
that was, and it was lit.
And
We had a good time.
I also believe we said we were going to record that for them, which we did.
But to be honest, it was ruined.
I feel like we're...
The footage was ruined. Had a heckler
No.
in the crowd.
The footage really wasn't able to be edited. Like, the audio, it just wasn't there. Like I don't want to put that out as far as like, I feel like we put out quality content and I don't want to put that out and it not be quality. So if you were there, you got to witness something special because it is not something that's going to be online. If you missed it, stay tuned because
we might do another one.
We might do another one.
So you don't want to miss that one. We really
want to do another one, so just stay tuned. You probably will be able to catch it.
Yeah, it was grand.
Yeah.
We gave out prizes.
We had
little finger snacks for everybody. So.
Yeah, it was just a really good vibe that whole weekend. Like honestly, now we were working these past 3 weeks, but as far like even if we didn't, like that one weekend, that would be okay. If only that happened. Like it was just great to be surrounded by like people we love and people we care about, and like it was just like celebrating the pod and celebrating our union and stuff like that. Like it was just special. Like I can't express that enough. So
it was. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody that came out and showed us hella love because we appreciate it.
For real. Yeah. So other than that, nothing much really. Just same thing. Dog, wedding planning. Like that's kind of just what life is, and then prepping, of course, for season 4. We also did a podcast with one of our friends.
Yes, Mr. Charlie Taylor Jr.
Yes.
Of the Right State of Mind podcast.
Yes. So
be sure to check that out.
Yeah. So actually, by the time y'all are listening to this, it is Wednesday night. So
it'll be out.
That episode will be out as well. So the Right State of Mind Right State of Mind podcast. Go check it out. You can check it out on Riverside, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Yeah, so if you want a little bit of a double dose of us,
go for it.
Why not? Go check it out.
There.
It's out right now.
It's there. So shout out to Charlie, big time, for having us on. Charlie's he's a substance abuse psychologist. Yeah. So he does like counseling and stuff. So awesome guy. I've known him for some years. Yeah. Kind of like my big brother. So shout out to Charlie.
For real. The conversation was just good. It's very based on what we talked about. It's based on what we talk about on the pod. So just relationship advice, like how we work through struggles in our own relationship, yada, yada, yada. It was very organic. It was very fluid. Like it was just a great conversation. So if you like our podcast, I'm sure you'll enjoy our episode on his podcast. So again, go check it out. It's out now. But yeah, that's really it I can think of so far. I mean, we have fun stuff coming for season 4. We've got some merch coming on the way. We'll make sure.
The merch is gonna be crazy. Y'all can't get these though. I'm sorry.
These are one of one.
One of one.
One of one. But we'll put something on the story and stuff. So if you are not following us on the Instagram page, please do. If you want to keep up with stuff for
that's
the
where
season.
all the updates and stuff are gonna be. So
everything is there. So we'll put up stuff on the stories and stuff like that, as far as like y'all voting on designs and stuff like that. So we have good stuff coming in terms of like merch. We have lots of new guests coming on this season.
Oh yeah, the guests are gonna be crazy. The guests are top tier. Not saying that our other guests weren't top tier.
No. I just think
this season is gonna be.
I think last season we didn't focus on guests as much as we wanted to. So
that's true.
We were making sure we were more proactive about that this time around and not letting wedding planning stuff get the best of us. Right. So we're staying on top of it. So anyways, long story short, season 4 is going to be great. I'm really excited about it, and let's just kick it off. And I think the best way to kick it off is to go around and say what we are snacking on. So
yes, sir.
Babe, get into it.
You know
what we got going on.
From Aldi, we got the Easy Pill Mandarins on deck. You know, got to keep it healthy. Got to keep that vitamin C up.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep it healthy per usual.
I'm down.
So I'm on the Easy Pill, little mandarin oranges.
I love that we are starting with Aldi this season.
Yep.
I have high hopes that one of you that knows an auntie or an uncle or a grandma or a grandpa or somebody at Aldi headquarters.
Throw the oop.
Throw the oop. I feel it. I feel like even if it's just a story reply, I feel like Aldi is going to notice us this season. We just got to stay on their asses, and I'm ready to do so.
Yeah.
I'm committed to the
on doing that. So
I have some cantaloupe. Guess where it's from?
Aldi.
And it is. And it's delicious. It's very hard to find fruit like when it's perfectly ripe.
That's true.
I think we did it with this one. It tastes great, in my opinion. But
cantaloupe is always fun. I made a juice with it the other day. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. Devin's been on his juicing kick. I'm here for it. All right. Speaking of snacks, are we ready to unpack the snack?
Oh, yeah, because the unpack the snack it's pretty good. Y'all did good with the responses and stuff.
Now,
so I'm excited. I'm happy to hear that.
I was hoping that we would start the season with some high engagement, and y'all really delivered. For real. Now, I do want to put this out there because y'all's feedback is important to us, but I noticed that more responses were given to the question when I put it as a status on my personal Instagram page. Like, meaning I got a lot of DMs versus comments on the post. So, if y'all are more interested in doing like a DM situation, so you can like sit and write out like a longer thing or whatever it may be, let us know if you would prefer that method. We can put up a status on the Late Night Snackin'
Instagram page.
Instagram, yeah, and y'all can DM us there. So let us know, whichever y'all prefer. I just noticed we got a lot more responses that way. But, okay. So the question is closure needed after a relationship ends?
That
hit you? Well, it hit them too.
Right in the throat.
Right in the throat. But, I think because I didn't want to like write this long ass thing on the post, really what we meant by that is like the relationship has already ended. Is there a need for like a conversation afterwards? Either explaining why, getting more clarity, like just getting closure. That was pretty much where we were coming from that standpoint. So here are some responses. And first of all, y'all are hilarious.
Oh yeah, the responses are pretty funny.
The responses, like,
they're crazy.
Okay. So we got in all caps, nah.
Chief Keef, nah.
Ain't happening. And that's the truth. Somebody said, better thank God for the closure of the door and keep it pushing, Peter. Somebody said, I don't think it's needed. It almost seems like a search for affirming why things are ending, which in my opinion can be done internally through things like self-reflection.
Agreed.
Somebody said, to me, closure is just people needing to know why. And to be honest, I think people give BS reasons to why they want to break up half the time anyway. So it can just be a waste of time. If it's over, you just move on. I think the best closure is just thanking God that even though breakups hurt, acknowledging that he's only moving you towards what's really meant for you. Somebody else said, no.
Positive outlook.
Huh?
Positive outlook on that.
Yeah. I like the positive spin on that one. And then somebody else said, yes, but you create closure for yourself. No one can give it to you. And in my DMs, I won't go through all those because a lot of you came through. I'll hit a couple because they kind of do mesh with the ones that are in the comments. Some of you gave me stories on like why you do need closure. Some of them were just because the breakup itself was either like in a gray area or there wasn't like a definite end. So from those 2 points of views that I got, they were saying that like a closure conversation would have helped them like feel like there was a line in the sand, like a definite end to the relationship. Somebody else had said, like if you're continuing to be friends with this person afterwards, like maybe a closure conversation is good to like set boundaries as to like what does that look like. Yeah. And then of course we got like some F no's. No, that's stupid. No, it's just a reason to go back to the person. Like, so everybody is like, I don't know. I feel like we got more like, no, it's not necessary. But the ones that we did get yeses on, I do understand. So, good points of views from y'all. Where is your stance on this?
And I think it's just like regular human nature. Like, as humans, we don't like the unknown, the unknowing. You know what I mean? So, the fact that we are put in maybe like an uncomfortable situation, or like a breakup or something like that, like, you kind of wonder why. You know what I mean? Like, was it me? Was it them? Like, was it something I said or did? Like,
sure.
So that's why you have like TMZ and all these other places that gives you the lowdown on everybody else's business, because everybody just wants to know. They're so nosy. Like, so the fact of unknowing, like, it does weigh down on us, and so you kind of want to search for closure to kind of figure out like why this situation like ended, or the relationship or whatnot. So, I mean, I get it. Personally, for me, I've never really went searching for closure. I don't think it's necessary. But it's very situational. I'm aware of that, so it depends on the person. I'll just say that.
I think I'm in the same place, because I will say originally coming in, I was more on the like, no. Yeah, like it's just not needed. But after like hearing some stories of why it would have helped them, and I think somebody even said that like it trickled into their next relationship because they didn't feel like they got full closure from the previous one. Like, I can understand that. I will say I'm more along the lines of, I just feel like that's work that you need to do internally. And again, like Devin said, it is situational. I'm not in anybody else's shoes. I just know for me personally, in situations that I've been in, like if I felt like I needed some sort of closure, that is like internal work that I did with me, because in my head I was like, what can they really say to give me closure? Like, the closure that I'm looking for is just peace of not thinking about the shit anymore, which is something that I can do for myself.
Right. You don't necessarily need.
I don't need the conversation with the other person. If anything, I think that would open up unnecessary wounds and stuff like that. And I just like don't think that's necessary. But again, like we said, I think it's pretty situational. But yeah, I loved the conversation that we got out of everybody from that. Thank y'all for...
So shout out to the snackers, man. Y'all are real.
For real. That was some great participation.
Starting off season 4 with a bang.
Not the gun side.
Finger pistols.
Pew pew. Alrighty, cool. Shall we hop into Le Tapi?
Let's hop into it. We have a pretty spicy one. It's not necessarily spicy, but...
I think it's
something to think about.
I think it's only juicy because this is like a real conversation that we just recently had with each other and felt like it would be a good topic. Y'all seem to like those types of things. I've gotten a lot of feedback about our episode with the exterminator story.
Ate that up, did you?
Ate it up only because they could tell that it was like a personal experience.
Right.
And like they could tell that there were like real feelings involved in that conversation, which is what we try to bring y'all anyway.
Yeah, that's what we shoot for anyway.
Yeah. So this is a real conversation that we had with each other. Of course, for the podcast's sake, we brought in more points, so there's some substance to the episode. But what are we chatting about?
So we are discussing expectations of your partner.
Ooh.
Yep, them expectations, those unspoken expectations, things that you never really talk about, but you expect them to do. Yeah, all of that.
And the spoken ones, too.
And the spoken ones, too.
Just all the expectations.
Just all the expectations. Like, what that looks like, how it's communicated, if it's even communicated at all.
Sure. Yeah.
All that.
We're going to do it.
Yep.
Cool. So I think a good place to start is setting like unrealistic expectations, because that is what sparked this conversation to begin with, because it was a conversation that we just had. So I think Cicely had come up on her birthday weekend. So that was like a couple weekends ago. Shout out to Cicely.
Hey, yeah. Shout out Little Italy, man.
And transparently, her and I were just talking about life and relationships and stuff like that. And we pretty much just started talking about like expectations that we have of our men, and how it might be a little like overzealous, like maybe expecting too much for the time that we're in right now. Are we expecting too much, or are we settling on certain things? Like, the normal conversations that you have with your girlfriends. Mm-hmm. So, and it was funny because we had a whole conversation about that. And the next day, Devin had brought up something about certain expectations of me and stuff like that. And I was like, that's crazy that you say that, because me and Cicely were just having this conversation. So to tie it all together, we were basically not purposely kind of comparing each other to like our parents, as in like me comparing Devin to my dad and Devin comparing me to his mom, which you should not do.
Yeah, no.
But it is a natural thing when you start talking about marriage and parenthood, because all your like perspective of that is your mom and dad. So like it's natural to have some sort of expectation of your partner of like, oh, what would she be like as a mom?
Right.
Well, the only thing I have to go off of a mom is my mom right now. So yeah, naturally I'm going to make some comparisons, or like, is she going to be like this? Yada, yada, yada. Same thing for me. What's Devin going to be like as a husband? What's he going to be like as my dad? First person I'm looking at is my dad for that. So I think it's natural to do that. It's not crazy to do that, but it sparked a good conversation between us, as in a sense, for where we're at in life right now, we may be setting the bar a little too high for each other when we are not even married yet, nor are we parents yet, and expecting certain things. So I don't know what, I'll go into the conversation a little bit more, but where are you at with that? Like after that conversation, like,
like she said, like naturally, like, I don't know, like you see certain things and then like maybe they resonate with you because of something that you've seen before in your past from like a parent or something like that. So like I know like with my mom, like she went grocery shopping like by herself. That was the thing that she just, I mean, of course I went with her when I was younger because I mean, it was just me and her. My dad's probably at work or something. But it was never a situation to where, like, as a household, we all went grocery shopping. Like, that wasn't a thing. My mom went, got what she was going to get, come home. Like, same thing with, like, cooking dinner and stuff. She didn't really ask us what we wanted for dinner. She just cooked, and we ate it.
Yeah.
That's just how it was. There were occasions where she would ask, you know what I'm saying, about dinner, like what we wanted. But it was very rare, you know what I mean? Because I guess me and my dad were just pretty much easy to feed. Like it wasn't around that time anyway. Around that time, like there wasn't too much that I wasn't eating. So
yeah,
it was there. And I guess like I won't say it becomes like unhealthy, but just in general, I know with guys, I can't speak for girls, but
sure,
for guys, when you're dating or when you're going into like, you know, settling down, like you kind of look for traits in this person that your mom has. It's just by nature.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a nurturing type thing. So you just kind of like look for that. It's like, wow. Like, but you don't want to like compare your fiance, girlfriend, wife, whatever to your mom.
Right.
Not even the same caliber. It's not even the same ballpark. Like
yeah.
Two totally different humans, like with two different, like obviously being raised in two different, you know, same generations and stuff. So
right.
It's just not, I don't think it's like a good thing to do or a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, there were certain things that like your mom did that you were looking at, and like I was telling him same thing with my dad. Like we had a different growing up situation. Like mom and dad would come home from work, we would all have dinner together. We still do it now if I'm home. Like we all sit on the couch together and talk with each other. Like we're just a very tight-knit family. So there was an expectation that I had that like we would also be, you and me would be tight knit like that, and like our family would be tight knit like that. Like setting certain expectations, like just based on what I'm seeing from my own family and my own dad, and like dad makes a certain amount of money. No reason I need to compare that to you because we are in a different life situation, but it's just like naturally you do these things, especially like, I don't, like I always say, I don't know where y'all are at in life, but especially right now with us, like being on the way to marriage, like we are looking at each other as, how are you going to be a husband or a wife and a parent? Yeah. Like these are just natural things that we're looking at in each other. But so we were having the conversation and I was like, I think it's unfair for us to do that to each other because you and me are comparing each other to our parents like now and our parents maybe like 20 years ago when like we didn't know our parents like that when they were our age, just starting, like just buying their first house, just getting their first jobs, just getting into a career, struggling with money. Like we don't know that side of our parents. We know our parents really well right now and as they were like raising us and stuff like that. So I was like, it's unfair for me to compare you to where my dad is now because my dad was in a totally different situation at 29, 26, 24. Like it's unfair to have those expectations of each other. So kind of how that came up, well, besides the conversations we were having, I saw a TikTok and it was Alicia Keys talking about how sometimes you set expectations for your partner almost as if you're setting them up to fail because you're setting the bar so high knowing they can't reach it and then getting upset that they're not able to
and it's like not even their fault, like they can't do anything
exactly about it. And sometimes it's unspoken, sometimes it is spoken, but nonetheless you're still setting the bar too high for them. And this is not me saying to settle. I'm saying be realistic about where you are in life right now. And I think that was a real conversation we had to have with each other, was like, we need to be realistic at where we're at right now. We are in a totally different life setting than where our parents were at this time in their relationship. So it's just not fair to set those expectations. So yeah, I guess my first main point is just to say, like, just be mindful and realistic about where you and your partner are right now, and not to set expectations knowing your partner cannot reach those. Don't set them up for failure. So. And
it's easy to wonder about those things, like especially if you're getting serious and you're planning to settle down, you're getting engaged, you're getting married and all this stuff. Like you can't help but to look at those things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's like for us, like as far as us being like engaged, like us getting married, like so just because that's the next milestone in our relationship, just by default, we're going to look at each other like, oh, I wonder what Devin's going to be like as a husband. Or, what is she going to be like as a wife? Like these are just thoughts that just cross our mind because we're getting closer to that. And so once we get married, the next thing is going to be, oh, well, I wonder how Devin's going to be as a parent.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it happens. It's natural. You know what I mean? It's okay to wonder, but don't get so fixated on like, okay, well, she needs to be exactly how my mom was because my mom's parent style worked and it did this. Like,
right.
It should be like a team effort. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I honestly feel like parenting for, like, I guess, like us who are kids of parents. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we should put our own flair on it anyway.
Yeah.
Not to say that like, our parents, like, their parenting styles didn't work because obviously they did. But.
Yeah. I think we turned out all right. I think just times are different and our relationship with each other is different than your parents' relationship with each other and my parents' relationship with each other.
Right.
No two relationships are the same. No two people are going to parent the same. So yeah, just like you said, we put our own little flair to it and stuff. I think we've said this on episodes before, we can take things from each of our parents and instill, because obviously, things worked and you want to hold on to some things, but as far as like our overall parenting style, like that is determined by me and you, and and that's it. It doesn't need to be compared to outside of that. But
so what does it look like when your partner isn't meeting your expectations, but you know that they can? like it's very feasible. It's very possible for them to meet your expectations, but
yeah,
they just don't.
I think this came up in the comments too, because somebody was like, pretty much saying the same thing. They were like, well, I know they can. It just feels like they won't. Like they don't want to.
Yeah.
And somebody responded back and they were like, sometimes you just have to accept that maybe you are just not the person that they want to meet those expectations for.
Like you can't bring that out of them, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Which is, I know that's like very subjective, because who's to say like you're the right one to bring it out of you or whatever.
Yeah, that's a wild concept to like think about.
It is.
Like you not meeting your partner's expectations because you don't want to.
You just don't want to. Or maybe
that's
you just
crazy.
And maybe like you just feel like it's too much, and like
that's fair too.
Like,
that's fair.
And that's okay, but like sometimes people think it's a lot, but maybe they feel like their partner challenges them and like they want to meet that for them. I do, like I said, as subjective as it sounds, I do believe that a little bit, that like with the right person you will meet those needs and you will meet those expectations because you want to make your partner happy. Now, I'm not saying like start changing your beliefs and your values and stuff to like make your partner happy, but just basic expectations, or maybe even your partner thinks really highly of you and thinks you can achieve certain things, like maybe with the right person that can motivate you and like bring that out of you. But I don't know, what do you think?
I think what comes with that is, you know, if you are going to make the effort to do that, then it needs to be with the intent that you feel, I don't know, I guess it should make you feel like it could bring you closer to your partner. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you have an expectation of me and I'm telling you, like, hey, like, yeah, like, I get what you're saying. I'm going to do my best to, you know, meet your expectation or whatever. Like, I shouldn't do it because, you know, one, you just want me to. I should want to do it for myself as well.
Ooh, that's a good point.
For the sake of our relationship. Like, if this is something that my partner needs or is needing, then for me, that's a good enough reason to meet the expectation or try at least.
Yeah, I agree. I like the point of you saying because you should want to do it for yourself. Right,
because you can get caught up in like doing it for your partner just for the simple fact because they just want you to do it, and you just feel like, oh, well, I'll just meet the expectation just to get them to shut up. Then you're gonna do it like, I don't know, it's almost going to annoy you because when something else comes up, it's going to be like, oh, it's just something else. It's just another expectation. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it can kind of give you this weird perception of your partner. I don't know, you'll start to like not like them as much or something.
Yeah. I do think that's a domino effect though. I think if your intentions to meet the expectation are off, as in like you're not doing it for yourself, you're just doing it to please your partner, I do think it turns into a resentment type thing.
Right, exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
Which I like that it should be focused on yourself, because I think it's a domino effect that does bring you closer to your partner essentially. Like whatever the expectation is, maybe it makes you want to be a better person, and by default you're becoming a better partner for your partner and stuff like that. Like it could be a domino effect. So I kind of like that. Do you believe though that certain people
Where are you from?
I don't know.
Oh, Mississippi? Louisiana?
Do you believe that certain people can bring that out of each other though? Like, this sounds so bad to say, but like in your example, like, do you feel like, I don't know how to say it. Like, do you just think that there are people that can bring that out of you and like some just can't? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you know how they always say like, oh, you know, only, what does it say? It takes the right woman to make a man settle down and stuff like that.
Okay, that's where I was trying to get at, but I wasn't trying to say that, but that's essentially where I was going with that.
I don't know. Like, Yeah, I don't know. Yes and no, just because like depending on where you are in life, you may not. It's not that you can't, but you just may not really see that in the cards, like for yourself right now, because you're in a different season of your life, and so you feel like you can't like deliver something or deliver a certain expectation. So you just be like, you know what, like nah, like I can't even like, and I feel like with a response like that, even if the right woman or guy was to come around, like it wouldn't make a difference, just because I don't know. I just feel like as a person, you know yourself best. So you're not going to make a commitment that you know that you can't maintain. Sure. At least you shouldn't anyway. So if I know that I can't meet a certain expectation for you in a season that I'm in right now, then I'm going to tell you like nah. Like I'm not even finna tell you like, oh, I'm gonna try. Like no, I just know for a fact this is going to backfire on me, especially for what I'm trying to achieve or whatever. Yeah. Like it's just not going to work.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So coming from a woman's perspective, because this is not always the dynamic, but it is a thing to where the man cannot see a certain potential in himself, so he's only performing at a certain level. Mm-hmm. And the woman just sees so much in him and it's like, he's not meeting my expectations, he can never pull through.
Right.
But I just know he can. Because that's the point of view I'm coming from on this. And I think as women, we like to be fixers and we feel like we can like wait around for them to get there or change. I don't think it's wrong either way. I just think if you're staying, you're signing up for that disappointment if the expectation is never met. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think it's wrong if you leave either, because you shouldn't have to wait around for somebody to catch up and meet your expectations.
Absolutely. That's definitely by choice.
Yeah, exactly. So if you stay and wait on this man's potential to finally come through and meet your expectations, that is on you to deal with disappointments along the way. And if you are okay with that, then cool. Exactly. That is on you. So I think, I guess I just don't want people to get into like a victim mindset of like, oh, he just never pulls through for me. Like he has so much potential, but he just doesn't want to do it for me. And like, sometimes it's just very clear that he is just not at the caliber that you want him at, and you are choosing to stay and wait it out. And that is on you. It just is.
And I only said it because that's how it was I had an experience like that in my last relationship where I knew that the person, like the man that she wanted me to be at that time, right then and there, I could not deliver that just because of the season that I was in.
Sure.
Like it was a very unexpected season, but that's just how the cards, like that's just how they were dealt to me. So like I was in college, I'm still trying to like figure myself out.
Yeah.
Like, trying to, decipher what type of man I wanted to be, like my character and stuff like that, what my future was going to look like, where I was going to end up, like career wise, like so many things, so many variables, like, came about. And I know like this could sound like an excuse of just like, oh, you're just making up excuses. Like, no, like these are really things that this is my life. So like, if I don't take anything else serious, this is my life and the decisions that I make in them. So at that time, like, just trying to, even if I could like muster up the effort to give to be that person, like it would have been wonky. Like it wouldn't even be like a well polished version of that at all. And so, and I don't believe in putting people through things like that. So I'd much rather bring a well polished product to the table versus just something jagged and, just me giving like a half-assed effort just for the sake of saying that I'm trying.
Sure.
So.
Now, let me ask you, did you have any sort of conversation about how you are not able to be the man that she is wanting you to be? Did y'all ever have that dialogue with each other? Because I know
prior to the breakup, no.
Okay.
But like when we broke up, then yes, like I was just like, dude, like I can't be who you want me to be.
And my experience went the same way, but it was the other way around, as where I'm saying, this is the type of person I need you to be, and these are the expectations I have, and just transparently, you are falling short, and I cannot wait around for you to catch up. Like, that was pretty much the conversation. But my point is, it shouldn't have to get to the point of where you are at breakup having these conversations.
Right. It should have been a conversation you had probably like first date.
100%. So that's what I was going to ask you, is like, because obviously our podcast, we want our listeners to practice healthy habits and like take these habits back to their own relationships and things like that. So don't do like us and have these conversations at breakup. When do you think conversations about expectations and stuff should happen in the first place? I guess not an exact time, but
like during the first stages
like
of
early
it. Like
on, right?
I would honestly go as far as to say like honeymoon phase. Like, especially while everything is bubbly and everything else, like, yeah, have that conversation while both of y'all are in a good mood, or y'all are both in a good, or y'all are both in a good space. Like, you're happy with each other, like everything's lovey-dovey, like, and then have that conversation, because I feel like then both of you will feel like, you know, feel a lot better about the expectations that are bestowed upon y'all. So.
Can I say something too?
You're more willing to, you know, give an effort towards them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think having a conversation early about expectations is great too, because I think you quickly find out if you're actually compatible with this person. Like the things that they're asking you to do, and the things, their values and what they believe in, and the type of lifestyle they're trying to have, and like how you fit into that. Like, that is very telling of a person, and it's very telling if you two are on the same page, going in the same direction.
Right.
Because it's sad to say, but like sometimes people get married and, you know, they get 10 years down the line and realize they were never compatible to
in the first place.
With. Yes, exactly. Yep. It's nuts. Yeah, like these are conversations that you should be having with each other early. What type of parent do you want to be? Do you want to be a parent? Do you want kids? How do you look at marriage? This is what I expect in terms of like a family lifestyle, in terms of respect. This is how I expect you to treat me. Like these are conversations that you should be having very early on. Things should be nipped in the bud. Like, yeah, it's just best to get that stuff out early so there's no surprises later on down the line. Do you feel like though that expectations can change down the line? I mean, yeah,
absolutely, because the expectations, I feel like the expectations you have for somebody in the beginning are not going to be the same as they were 3 to 4 years. Sure. From there. Like at first, it's very surface level, you know. Yeah. Chivalry, be a gentleman.
Exactly. Treat
me
well.
Be a lady.
Communicate well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respect
very
me out in
surface
public.
level stuff. Yeah. But then after like 3 years or whatever, like, yeah, that's no longer good enough.
No.
Because now these are things that you know that you should be doing. So now it's time for a new set. Yeah. No, I'm joking.
Write them up. No.
Time for a new set of expectations. Okay. So paragraph 1. No.
Paragraph 1.
Nah, like.
Stop. That's
but no, like, I think the more like complex expectations should be set, you know, after that.
I agree. And I think because, I mean, we're humans, we're ever changing. Like, obviously when we get married, like, we are going to be a different caliber of a person. Like, we are going to be legally binded. There are finance things that are combined. Like, there are different types of conversations that we're going to be having with each other, and in terms of being parents and things like that, how we parent when a certain situation comes up with our kids that we didn't plan for. These are new things that are going to come up that we're going to have to set new types of expectations of each other for, and how do we handle this, and how do we treat each other, move on, how do we treat each other in front of our kids, like you know, these are things that you are learning along the way. And like, yes, a new set of expectations is probably going to come up, right? Like, just by nature. So
well, let me ask this. So speaking of expectations of whatever of each other, to what degree do you think like you really need to be meeting people's expectations?
I think
your partner in specific, like, To what degree? Like, so, like, for instance, like, if your expectation is, and it could be something like frivolous, like, oh, so I'm expecting flowers every Wednesday of every month, like, something like that. Like, I mean, cool. But, bro, like, look, like, what's going to happen if I don't get you flowers on a Wednesday of every month? Like, is that something that, is that like a deal breaker? Is that something I necessarily have to follow? Like,
I think that's where, like, having an actual conversation is, though, because it depends. Like, maybe your partner's love language is gift giving, and to feel loved, they need to receive some sort of gift. That doesn't mean you have to go buy flowers all the time, but, like, maybe write them a letter. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, because I'm not a gift person, so I don't know exactly what they want, but, like, just how physical touch and, like, time together is love for me, like, that may not translate to somebody who would like flowers every Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's expectations, love languages, like, it's so complex. There's more that goes into it, but that's where I feel like having a conversation of, like, if you felt like you couldn't really deliver that, you're like, look, money's kind of tight right now, flowers are kind of pricey, we're in inflation, like, I can't afford you flowers every Wednesday. Can we compromise? And, like, can I do different types of gifts? Like, does it have to be flowers? Or if you really
they should hit you with a Birkin bag. Whoa, wait a minute.
Well, okay, so that's a perfect example, because if your partner comes to you with something that is well out of your wheelhouse, I feel like you have to be honest and be like, this is something I cannot meet for you. Like, whereas the flower thing, I think it's kind of mean to be like, this is not an expectation I can meet for you. Because as somebody whose love language is that, I would feel kind of hurt that you wouldn't want to show me love in the way that I am requesting.
Right.
So,
or at least try. Like, give that effort.
Try, but the try can be a compromise, I think. Like, why stick to the original expectation if it is something that could be compromised or twisted a little bit to be like, I do want to show you love because this is how you receive love, but I can't afford flowers every week Wednesday, for you. Yeah, so, like, can I try and do something else? Can I surprise you with something else? Like, and she might love that. You never know. But, like, I think that's where the conversation has to be had. I think where it gets a little too much is when you're asking your partner to, like, change values and beliefs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, that's a little much. Yeah. I think asking somebody to be a dad who doesn't want to be a dad is too much. And, like, this is what I was saying about compatibility earlier, is, like, right there, having that type of conversation, you may find out that you and this person are not aligned. Like, and that's okay. That's why I think it's so important to just talk about what your actual expectations are and setting those early, so there's no large surprises down the line. Right. But you're saying, at what point do you really have to meet all of your partner's expectations? I think if they're within reason, I think you can.
It's worth a try.
It's worth to try, yeah, if you really want, like, a healthy relationship. And I think it is healthy to tell your partner, you're asking a little much of me right now. Is there a compromise here that we can decide on to where both of us are happy in the situation? Because I want to make you happy, and I want to be happy too, like, making you happy. And, like, if the conversation is constructive. Yeah, exactly.
It's constructive because you both are benefiting from it. Like,
yes, yeah.
You're figuring out new ways how you can, like, accommodate your partner and whatever it is expectation they're asking for, and this is an opportunity for them to help you do that, or just kind of be like, hey, I understand, we can make a compromise and you can just do this instead, like, sure. Or this could be a start. Right. Like that. I mean, and that conversation is, in my opinion, is easy to have. I feel like it is, especially if you're already having, like, conversations of expectations, or, things that you would like to see out of your partner, and vice versa. Like, it helps. Yeah. It helps. It's constructive.
I think, because, do you have anything else to add about this topic before we close the topic down?
No.
Okay. Because I feel like we hit on a lot. I think my last kind of think piece on this is just like, you should try. Like, I think we say this all the time. Like, it's always the willingness of the partner that makes it so nice. Like, you feel like your love and energy and effort is reciprocated when your partner is like actually trying. I think it was Cicely who I was talking about this to, but I was saying, I was like, the main reason I'm so like stuck beside Devin is just because, like, when I set expectations or I'm expressing needs, like, he tries. Like, there is a visible effort that you are trying to do what I'm asking you to do. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not out here asking him to do freaking backflips across the house. Like, it's nothing crazy, but just like in general, in terms of like stuff around the house, like, can you do more here? I feel more loved if you do XYZ. Like, he's on it. And it's just like the willingness of the partner is what makes it so sweet, because now I'm more willing to meet your expectations as well because you are willing to meet mine. You know what I mean? Like, it's reciprocated and it's a everlasting type thing. Like, it just goes back and forth and back and forth. Exactly. And just like you were saying before, like, we both benefit from the situation because an expectation is being met. The other person's happy because they're meeting the expectation, but it's reasonable to where you don't feel like you're drowning every time you're trying to meet an expectation with your partner. You know what I mean? So fellas, just a word of advice. Have that conversation. Yeah. It'd be even better if you initiate it. She'll look at you in a brand new light. Ooh, and that's the truth. Nah, facts. Facts, bro. Cool. Anything else? No, I guess we can hook them up. All right, let's hop into the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. All right, y'all. So it is me hooking y'all up tonight. I'm actually gonna hook y'all up with the place that we had our engagement party at. Woo. Oh, that was a lit spot. Very excited for friends in the Charlotte area. If you are in the Charlotte area or visiting, make sure that you check out the Auto Pour. Their the Auto Pour. The acronym is TAP, which is just really cute because that's the whole gist of the place. Yeah, it's a tap wall. Yeah, it's really neat. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Slingshot in Charlotte, but it's got the same type of concept to where you can put like a card or you can put a card or a wristband and then up. You pull it and you can like try it or like get a whole glass, and you're like charged by the ounce or however much you put in the glass. So they have beer and wine. You can do both at the same time if you're feeling a little crazy. Yeah, they have two different cards. Yes, so there's one for beer, one for So wine. There's a beer card and a wine card. For the wine, I don't remember. Did you do the beer? Yeah, I did. Was there like a? I will say the selection wasn't huge. Yes. Now I'll put it this way. It was more than. Now you get like more than like 6 different ones. They have like 6. More than 6 different types of beer to try, but don't walk in expecting like 15 to 20 place. Sure. I will say their wine selection was more abundant than the beer, so it's more of a wine place for sure. There's so many options: whites, reds, sparkling, like anything you want to go for really. And it's pretty much you can do like a sample size, you can do like a half glass and then a full glass. And basically they just charge you for however much you ended up drinking. So it was very reasonably priced when we checked out. And the people there were so nice. Yes. Very welcoming. 1, very affordable. 2, very hospitable. Like the people that were there, they were walking around during our party, like talking to us and stuff like that. Helping take pictures, like offering to take. They were really dope. Yeah. So if you're looking for like a nice, like homey, cozy vibe to like just go sip, that is definitely like a great place. Yeah. to go to. So it's on South Boulevard. So if you're in that area, check them out. Tell them that we sent you. Hopefully they remember us. I don't know, but
I feel like they should. That was a big party.
Maybe they did.
We had, so.
But yeah, so the Auto Pour. If you want to follow them on Instagram, their IG is the Auto Pour CLT. Yeah, check them out. They got a lot of good stuff. Wow.
Nuts.
All right, y'all. If you're on YouTube, our camera definitely just died, but it is great because we are about to close out, so no issues. We shall close it down. All right, y'all. We are closing it down. Like I just said, unfortunately, the camera just went, and I don't know what's going on with the camera, but we will get it figured out for the next episode.
Yeah, I think last time, what we read was when it gets too hot, maybe when it gets too warm, it cuts off on its own. It cuts
off, but there shouldn't be an issue with that because I definitely fixed that. So, no, it's definitely something going on with the camera that I need to do some looking into.
Yeah, that camera expensive, boy. We got to get that together.
Okay, listen.
What they say, or your money back guarantee? Say less.
Send it back. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, we really hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Like I said, we like to bring y'all actual conversations that we have with each other because it just makes it more personal. And y'all can actually hear like real conversations that we have with each other outside of the pod. But right. Hope y'all enjoyed this content. If you follow us on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up and drop a comment if you enjoyed or if you just have any general feedback you want to give.
Yeah, because we be checking in on that.
Yeah, we check it all the time. We want
y'all to comment.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Say hi, whatever you want to do. So yes, make sure you are subscribed, most importantly. And then if you are an audio listener, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yep. Don't forget to follow the TikTok.
Yes.
We got some crazy stuff going on the TikTok.
Yeah, we have a lot of good ideas coming this season. So if you want to see extra content, follow us outside of the pod. It should just be at LNS the pod, just like everything else. Or LNS the podcast, sorry. So yeah, check us out on there. One last thing, remember to go check us out on Charlie's podcast, the Right State of Mind
Right State of Mind podcast.
Yeah. If you want extra content from us. So yeah.
Oh, and also Saga of Lost Kin is out on all platforms.
Yes.
Mixtape. Consider myself and the Jason Wade.
Whoop, whoop.
Under the King's Company label. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Some dope music. So appreciate y'all.
Cool. Proud of you. Good job.
Hey.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in as always, and we will catch y'all next Wednesday.
All right.